Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming today. I better be looking at you right there. Um, Today is a kind of monumental day in the history of the company. We started back in 1987, way back, and today is a big announcement. We've been talking about some of these services before. It's not brand new, so some of you may have heard about them before. But today we're kind of doing the official rollout now that a lot of things are done. Before things were kind of still in limbo. So now we're actually ready to release it. So it's a pretty big deal for PCS. Um, Mostly these particular new services have to do with restaurants and similar businesses, but there are a number of other businesses that can also participate and benefit from using some of these services. So even though I'm going to be talking a lot about restaurants today, just keep in mind if you are a small business, not necessarily a restaurant, you may find something useful here as well and beneficial to your business as well. With that said, let me start a presentation and I'm going to talk over it. Okay, so in today's world, today's environment, for restaurants and many other small businesses, it's extremely difficult to impossible for some businesses that actually wind up going out of business to compete. It's really, really difficult to market in today's world. It's difficult to acquire new customers. It's difficult to maintain profits. It's everything is very, very difficult, very competitive, mostly because of number of businesses. That's one reason. Number of people, of course, another reason. And at the same time, there are so many things out there. We have the internet that created this network of everybody connected and everybody communicating. And so everybody is trying to do all kinds of different things. And people are just simply overloaded with data, and people are overloaded and overwhelmed with the amount of information that's available. And for a lot of people, it basically makes them shut down. I mean, there's just only so much you can take in before you just go, no, 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 we're done here. I can't do this anymore. And so everybody's trying to continue and push their businesses saying, buy mine, use my business. But people are not responding to it in the same way because the old ways of doing marketing and the old ways of conducting business are simply no longer functional in today's world. And that's the main things I want to bring up today in this announcement of our new um, services. I haven't talked about any of them just yet, but as you can see, they're called Fred, Mirar, and My 10 Dishes. So three different services. So we'll talk a little bit about the future of your business, if you're a restaurant especially. So today, what you can do, what tools you can use to be able to change this current setup where people will actually give you business and you'll be able to be more profitable and be able to do more with less, as I like to say. So my name is Oleg Moskalansky. I'm the founder and CTO of Productive Computer Systems, PCS for short, and I'm going to be doing the presentation today. So a little bit about the company. We started in 1987, and we started as a multimedia company. We actually developed some software to run advertising and information channel on cable TV using nothing but computers. We had a little small computer that was driving the entire channel. And so we did that for a number of years back in 1987. Back in the days where Macs had 9-inch black and white screens, and the PCs had 24 lines by 80 characters in 16 colors. We were actually doing animations and multimedia with moving graphics and sound and all kinds of different things back in 1987. So we're kind of a little bit ahead of time at that particular moment. But liking and being in the multimedia world, we always wanted to present businesses in a more visual, more appealing way because that's what customers like. People like TV, people like movement animation, things like that. But also, personally, I'm a IT industry veteran. I've been doing IT for about for over 30 years now, about 35 years now. And so it wasn't just the PCS. I was also working for a corporate environment, doing some other stuff as well. And so fast forwarding to the year 2000, I developed a system called Takeout Online, which at the time was pretty new. You know, most people did not even think about ordering takeout on the internet at that time. We didn't have Ubers, we didn't have Grubhubs, we didn't have anything at the time. And so having a couple of restaurant clients, I thought it would be a good idea for them to offer, now that the internet was coming more and more ubiquitous with mainstream use for different things. Amazon was already out there. Microsoft was catching up. You know, I thought it'd be a convenient and useful thing to do is to develop a system for people to order online. So Takeout Online was created, and it was meant specifically for ordering on computers. This is way before mobile phones or tablets or anything like that. And in 2010, we were getting some people asking about branching out to offer deliveries because some people were getting into the I want everything now, I want everything the most convenient way. So deliveries became something that people asked us. So we opened up very on a very kind of small scale, doing some deliveries. The idea was to try to see if it's doable and how efficient we could make it. There were some other delivery services out there, but my personal problem with doing deliveries was that I just could not come up with the efficient formula. And I'm very much into efficiencies, as you will see with the products as I'm going to describe them and services here. Efficiency is a huge deal for me personally, and I think for any business to be able to minimize the costs and maximize the profits and benefits of doing business, maximize the time, you have to be efficient. There's just no two ways to get around it. And so I could not see how, with the lack of fluidity or lack of consistency, I should say, with people ordering. You know, today you get 2 orders, tomorrow you get 20 orders. I mean, you just never know how you can match the proper number of drivers, delivery drivers, to be able to match the demand, or not have a situation where you have 2 deliveries and you have 5 drivers sitting out there, collecting dust basically from the street. So twiddling their thumbs, as they say. So with that being the case, I could not come up with a solution, but people were asking, not too many people, but some people asked. So we introduced deliveries to try it out, and over the years certainly learned how to do this with relative amount of success. When I say relative, because the consistency of ordering has never changed. You can come up with averages; it's still never going to be perfect. But we came up with some things that make things manageable and workable. And if you've recently seen some articles that say that Uber is eating profits of restaurants, and the only people who really make money on Uber Eats, the only company that does is actually Uber. That's the reason why, is because a lot of these companies that provide third-party deliveries, they charge tremendous amount of money or percent specifically to compensate for their overhead and for this inconsistency in ordering. In other words, that's the only way you can make money the way they see it, because they're not efficient and because of how they handle things, that's what they do. In today's market, though, because there's so much demand right now for deliveries and for takeout, a lot of these companies stay in business, and they still stay in business, which shows you how much of a market this is right now. And it also shows you that if you do not provide these services from your restaurant, from your business, you're really missing out not only on business, but potentially on even being able to be competitive, because other people are doing it and more people are doing it on a daily basis. So deliveries is an important thing to consider. Takeout, has been important from a long time ago. So we started doing deliveries 2010. In 2017, we came up with these new products, Fred, and then Mira My TV, which we'll cover in a little while here. And also in 2018, we rolled out Mighty Ambitious and Mirar, which is the new name for Mira. So let's go. This is kind of a quick introduction history to PCS. our vision has always been and still is and always will be in using technology for small businesses, mostly we deal with small businesses, to enable them to be able to have to save time and thus save money, bring more and more business and customers, and of course more profits, and improve efficiencies and automate things wherever possible. That's kind of what we do in terms of our IT approach to solving business problems. And of course, when we think about solving problems for businesses, at the same time, we always consider how we may improve um, what the businesses that we deal with offer to their customers. So how we can empower the customers to do more on their own. So because everybody likes to have as much control as possible, and bring them new levels of convenience, simplicity. Always important to be simple and enhance their customer experience. Right now, there's the big trend out there in business for what they call customer experience and improving it. And I think it's wonderful because for so many years, so many businesses really did not participate in this customer experience approach, and they provided, to be frank, lousy customer experience, and they really didn't care. And now finally businesses are turning around and seeing that they need to care if they want to stay in business. So we kind of look at all these things in terms of what we're trying to do in anything we do at PCS. And with that, let's look at some stats of what's going on in the industry in the country. So we're located in Washington State, up there at the top left of the country, and have been here since the beginning. And if you're going to contact us, that's where you're contacting us. Um, Currently, according to the latest statistics, in the United States, there are 82.1% of people using mobile phones. So almost the entire country practically is using mobile phones. And of course, we're talking about adults, kids, basically the whole population. So clearly, we're not at 100%, but we're constantly inching in that direction on a year-to-year basis, and it's getting more and more. Practically everybody, when you walk around, you can see everybody has a phone, and everybody has a smartphone. It's not just any phone; it's smartphone. Of course, it's broken between two camps of Apple being iPhones, and then Google being Androids. And of course, Google is the company that invented it, but actual Androids are manufactured by many different manufacturers. And so, but those are the two main camps of mobile users out there, and they make up about 82.1% of the country this year. Okay? The percent of adults that use email is at 92%. So essentially everybody who uses computers and uses internet uses email. 72%, according to the studies that were done, prefer to receive any kind of promotional materials via email. And because of that being the case, then of course email also has the highest open conversion rates as well. So if you're going to communicate with people, email is the best medium at this point to use to do so. Right now, in terms of reward programs and memberships into these reward programs, another name for them is customer loyalty programs, there are 3.8 billion of these rewards memberships in the United States. Think about it, 3.8 billion. So the natural question is, okay, we only have like 350 plus million population. How can it possibly be that high? And the reason is because people sign up for multiple reward programs, and you can see that if you do the math, there's practically more than 10 signups for every single man, woman, and child in this country. Okay? And of course, we all know that children don't sign up for these things, so it's really more like 20, I think statistics are about 20 signups per adult in the United States right now for these different programs. Um, then if you look at it from a standpoint of importance of being visible online, and at the same time what other people are saying about you to be able to conduct business properly, 84% of consumers out there trust reviews they read from people they know or colleagues, and it's a smaller percentage from other people, but it's still way up there in terms of how many percent of consumers trust reviews. So even though we may not be going to a restaurant because we see it on the street, like we used to do. The reason we don't is because we whip out our phones and we find the restaurants near us that have highest ratings, and Google is nice enough to show us exactly what they are. And of course, they're rated by consumers out there. And even though they're strangers, still, that's what everybody these days trusts to make a decision where to go and eat, or where to go and shop, or where to go, what movie to see. Anything these days is highly driven by opinions of other people. And these opinions come in forms of ratings and reviews online, whether it's on Google or on Yelp or other places. Bottom line is people trust human nature, basically. People trust reviews of others, even strangers, as hard as it is to believe, but it's actually the case. The online orders for takeout and deliveries doubled in the last year. So despite all these different companies providing services, despite all the chaos that's actually kind of going on with everybody and their brother providing this, at the same time the number of orders doubled. And of course that also explains why there's so many people involved in this, because um, there is such a huge demand for their services, and that's why they're still all in business right now. I think there might be a shakeup coming in a few years from now, where they will be consolidating, but still, I don't think demand is going to diminish at all, because it's relatively simple for people. It's convenient. The most important thing for online orders, it's convenient. If you can make it convenient and then pair it up with simple, it's a winning formula. Um, and one other point I wanted to make, there's many, many statistics I could quote. I'm just bringing some of these up for your consideration. So you can kind of see the lay of the land right there. And one of the things, speaking of loyalty programs, rewards programs, Macy's just dropped a company called Plenty, which used to provide its customer loyalty program. And Plenty is a pretty big player in this field. And so the question is why? Macy's is a big company. Why would they drop, provided that they've used for a number of years now to provide their loyalty program? Certainly not because loyalty programs don't work. They work big time in today's world. The reason is very simple. Macy's wants to build their own branded customer loyalty program, their own rewards program. They want to build it from the grounds up inside their organization. They want to offer it as Macy's rewards. They may give it some name, but I'm just saying that's the idea. Okay, so there's more and more companies out there saying, okay, we don't want to sign up with a third-party service because we want to show people that we have our own program, so we're not slaves, if you will, to somebody else's whims. And also, it's not so much being slaves to somebody else's whims. It's a situation where whenever some of these big companies like Plenty and Five Star and some other companies that do loyalty, these people, number one, usually charge more money because they have tremendous overheads, so they need to pay for everybody. But at the same time, in addition to charging more, they put everybody under their umbrella. In other words, when you used to go to Macy's for customer loyalty, you would be using Plenty. Plenty was what was visible to people. Plenty what people have to get the app for Plenty, and they have to use Plenty, Plenty, Plenty. And so it winds up diluting from Macy's brand, because Plenty is not Macy's in any way, shape, or form. It's a third-party provider. But if people go to Plenty, they see other providers too. So under a single umbrella, you now have all these different companies, your competition essentially. So you may sign up with this company to do, for example, deliveries or do takeout for you or online ordering, or customer loyalty, it doesn't matter. But if it's a third-party company, they're going to be showing all these other companies that they provide service for as well. And so you wind up being kind of mixed in this hodgepodge of all these other competitive companies to you. And people may have gone download the website, downloaded the app, web app, um, or native app in this case, for their phones to go to your restaurant. I mean, that's where they got the link from and everything else. But then once they ordered one time, all of a sudden they see all these other companies, they see all these other offers coming in. And now all of a sudden this other restaurant is inviting them to come in, and they may have a better offer than you. And now you just get lost in the mix, basically. So that's the reason Macy's dropped it, because they don't want to be part of the crowd. They want to show their customers that this is them, this is Macy's, and they have their own loyalty program, which they're working on right now, and they will be rolling it out. And so having your own identity is extremely important. And that's why you have restaurant name and not just some generic name. That's, your identity of your business is extremely important. Your brand, all of these things are very important. And so when you're incorporating additional services, it's very important also to try to stay with this kind of approach. This is the reason why Costco, for example, is doing a lot more business by adopting a white label approach, where they test a bunch of different brands, and whatever ones they like, they make an agreement with them. They're going to be selling it under their own Kirkland Signatures brand. So it's basically a Costco brand, and that's how they do it because they get more business and customers get more relationship established with them, more trust with them, and then more loyalty to that particular brand, so they keep buying that brand. So if you can do anything in what you're doing, and you can set up your business to have your own identity be both consistent, relevant, and always present, then that's going to make a huge difference in terms of how much business you can do and how much money you can make. Okay, let's move on to the next slide here. So we said that we live in mobile world. Over 82% of U.S. population uses mobile phones, and of course the reasons. If you look at the reasons why this is important, why people are doing that, it's relatively easy. It's because it's convenient, because it's easy, it's because it's simple to use. You take out your phone, everything you need is on there. Because it's relatively affordable, and the services that come with the phones, the apps, everything else is also pretty inexpensive. So all of this is very affordable for most people. I realize the phones are not that cheap to buy, but a lot of people are still managing by adopting the monthly plan. And most people, obviously, 82% have the phones, so they can afford it and they use it. And of course, people also buy secondhand phones, and there's a bunch of different possibilities there. But the services on the phones and everything are affordable. That's what makes them so compelling. And of course, you have ubiquitous access of these services because you can use a lot of these applications. You can use on the phone, you can use on the tablet, you can use some on the computers. So you have access, and plus you have access from anywhere. If you're in the Starbucks, if you're at home, if you're at work, you just get your phone out and you do whatever you need to do. And so then the empowerment part comes in, that you can do a tremendous amount of um, activities, whatever they might be. I mean, for lack of a better word, but you're doing this all on your by yourself, and you're doing it whenever it's convenient for you. So that's where using a phone, something you can put in your pocket, having that kind of functionality, that kind of capability, is so appealing to people, and that's why people use it, and that's why 82% use it. So if you go back to the marketing strategy and you think, okay, all of this is wonderful. Yes, I have my phone. Everybody has a phone. How does it apply to me? How can I do more business and do it consistently and do it well without huge expansions in staff and changing locations and building up a lot more infrastructure? I mean, businesses don't have the money to continuously work on that. And so how do you go about that? Well, to go about that, all you need to do is come up with your ideal customers, and if you get your ideal customers, uh, these customers will ultimately trust you, provided you do your part, meaning you provide good service, you provide good food, you have a nice decor in your restaurant. In other words, all the things that are under control are in place, because all those things I mentioned, the service, the way the restaurant looks, the way the food is prepared and handled, all of this is part of something that you control. So you don't have to do anything beyond that there. But still, you need to be able to market your services and get these people from going somewhere else to come to you. So who are these people? Where are they? How do you get them? And that's how you get how you get more business, is by having ideal customers, what I would call ideal customers. Who are these ideal customers? Well, they're people who know you, at least rudimentary. They may not know you really well, but at least they know you on some level. And from what they've seen, they want to do business with you. Okay? So those would be your ideal customers. If they want to do business with you, and they know you to some degree or know you really well, these are your ideal customers. Okay? Now that we've established who the ideal customers are, next question is, where are these people? We obviously we need to get a hold of them somehow. We need to deal with them. And so I realized I put this text in very small print intentionally so because these are the questions, that's the puzzle. The big light is how you get to it, but the light is made out of these puzzle pieces, meaning, you don't really know how to go about it. And that's exactly what this slide here is supposed to represent. That you're having a problem, you have a question, where are they? But in terms of the answer, you don't really know where these people are. How do you get them? How do you make them buy your stuff? How do you make them return for more business? In other words, what do you need to be able to make it happen? So, in terms of where they are, statistically speaking, your best customers, your ideal customers, are right in front of your face at your establishment. In other words, people who do not like your business or dealing with you for any reason would not be in your business. So anybody that's coming to your business already has a potential of being your ideal customer. Okay? So they're right in front of you. The challenge is to establish a relationship with them on an ongoing basis so they continue to give you business, not just a one-time stopover for a soda, but actually good business, increasing business, bringing more people, that kind of business. Okay, so it's a lot easier and a lot cheaper for you to gain business from these people, and you actually get more of it than trying to go out of your way to try to attract people from the outside somehow by sending out expensive coupons, which are almost guaranteed to either lose money for you or break even at the best, and you're not necessarily getting a lot of new customers using it. At least in the some of the tests that PCS has done with some of the clients we have, but they've done some coupons. It's a losing proposition. I mean, it really is. It's a wishful thinking type of marketing because, like an example, I'm going to provide one example. One restaurant, they sent out 30,000 coupons. It cost them $600, and which sounds like it's pretty cheap for just $600. You send out to 30,000 homes. The problem was they had about 250 people actually come back with the offer from that coupon. So nowhere near 10,000. I mean 30,000. Sorry. And from those 250 people, based on the offer they put on there, they wound up barely breaking even, practically, basically, let's just say breaking even on the offer itself. So whatever these people brought in to do business, they didn't make any money on them at all. And of course, if you add the $600 they paid for shipping these things, mailing these coupons, they completely lost money. I mean, they didn't make a dime. Okay, so how many of these people are coming back to them? It's something that they don't know. They have no way of reaching back and talking to these people or establishing any kind of relationship or doing anything with them. So the bottom line is a lot of these things that some restaurants are being sold, basically a bill of goods to use these coupons. For some restaurants, it may work to some degree. For most restaurants, it's a losing proposition. It's not how you want to market. You don't want to be throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks. You want to do something that's actually proactive, tangible, specific, that you know is going to generate visible results. Okay, so again, the people you're looking for are your customers. You just need to know how to get a hold of them and how to engage and build a relationship with them. Okay, so how do you get these people to buy? Now that we know where these ideal customers are, how do you make them to buy? Well, you make them a deal, as the in the immortal words of the Godfather movie. You make them an offer they can't refuse. I mean, that's how you do it. And so, how do you make them an offer they can't refuse? That's pretty simple. You come up with some kind of incentive for them to buy your stuff and keep coming back. And that's where these reward programs come in. And that's, we know from experience now and from statistics, they work extremely well. If you put together a decent offer for people, they'll definitely take you up on it. Okay. And if you put an offer in such a way where it encourages them to come back, you think about the old paper punch cards approach that a lot of businesses still use today. It's not a great approach from the many different aspects, but from the human psychology, from human nature standpoint, it's a wonderful approach because it's not just people to keep coming back and coming back and coming back to be able to get their reward. Okay, it kind of trains them very subtly to do that. So again, how do you make them return? We know how to make them buy is by making them an offer, and then to have a return, the offer using the human nature and proper services to manage it all, because otherwise management becomes difficult. Uh, then you can actually have them keep coming back, and as they come back, as you deal with them, as you serve them, you're beginning to establish a relationship with them. And that takes us to the most important thing of this whole formula is that your ideal customers are the people who don't only buy and keep buying from you, but they will never buy and keep buying from you unless they have trust in you. So by building this relationship over time, you're actually creating trust environment. And if people trust you, they'll happily continue to do business with you on an ongoing basis over and over and over. The trust is the key thing. My friend David Amerland, you know, wrote a book on trust, and in his book there is a quote that makes a lot of sense: "Is the ultimate goal of marketing is to generate intense bond between the consumer and the brand, and the main ingredient of this bond is trust." So essentially, he says exactly what I just mentioned on the last slide, that you have to have trust to be able to do business on an ongoing basis. Okay, and to do so, it's nice to have some tools. For example, we did talk about, I mentioned the punch cards. They work really, really well in terms of human psychology, whereby somebody gets a punch card. Of course, if they don't want to do business with you, they're not going to pick it up, so they pick it up. Problem is, this punch card got lost. Somebody threw it in the washing machine. It got left in the wrong pants. You can only have so many cards in your wallet. All these reasons why people just are fed up with punch cards is because they're not very functional. They're the concept, the psychology behind them is very solid, but they're not functional at all. And the worst thing about the punch cards is that you have no idea who these people are. Somebody came in, took your punch card, they bring back, they give you the punch card to punch it, and of course, if it's a simple punch, people can commit fraud all day long using that approach. So that's another problem with punch cards. But if they do the job and you do the job, then you basically keep punching it, then you're giving them their reward. The problem is, as soon as you punch it and you give them whatever they bought, they're gone. You have no idea who they are. You have no way to reach back to them. You have no way to give them any other offers or build any kind of relationship with them via communication. So that's the worst thing about using something with punch cards. So that's where, looking all of these things I brought up and all these things I mentioned, that's where we came up with the services that we came up with, which are Fred, Might and Dishes, and Mirar. Mirar, for those of you who don't speak Spanish, stands for look or glance in Spanish. And I'm not a Spanish speaker, but that's what it is. And today we're kind of unveiling the fact that it's a new name. It used to be called, we used to call it Mira, which stood for Multimedia in Restaurants Automated. Unfortunately, we found out after we already created it that there was some similar service out there actually called Mira. And so because they were before us, uh, we decided we're going to change the name to something similar, but not the same. Obviously, not to step on anybody's toes. So Mirar is the new. It has the same meaning behind it, but it's called Mirar. Um, and Fred is short for frequent dividends. Initially, we called it the frequent diner, but because we have businesses now that use it in non-restaurant environments, we changed it to be frequent dividends. Thanks to my friend Mark Barris, who suggested the name. And so for short, it's called Fred. Nice and friendly. So the three services are Fred, which is a rewards program, My 10 Dishes, which is mobile ordering program, and Mirar, which is intelligent advertising. Uh, but it's actually a multimedia service, cloud-based multimedia service for restaurants. So let's quickly just jump through each one. So Fred is a cloud-based service using mobile devices. It's cross-platform compatible, meaning you can use it on iOS as well as Android devices. It doesn't require any downloads or installs. In other words, it's not a separate app you have to download from App Store or Google Play Store. You simply scan a QR code and you start using Fred. It's, as they call it, painfully simple to use, because it is. And that was one of the key things. You'll hear me say the word simple many times today. And the reason for that is because I cannot overstress the importance of simplicity for people to adopt using technology. People like simple. It's you know that's basically it. All the studies, all the conversations I've had with people, the simpler the better. So we try to come up with something that would be as simple to use as possible, and I call it painfully simple. Um, Also, you're able with Fred to build an email list of your ideal customers, and so those people we talked about that become your ideal customers, Fred facilitates not only the entire program, how it's used and managed and everything else behind the scenes with very little interaction from people. But at the same time, it builds an email list of these people so you can then start interacting with them using email, which is the best medium, as we mentioned before, out there to um, market to people. And so I spoke one time to a restaurant consultant, and he said one of the biggest problems they have with a lot of my clients is they don't know how to put together an email list so they can start doing some marketing. They understand email is the best way to do it, but how do you get the right people in there? How do you not turn it into a spam? And so that's how we created Fred, to make sure that it's not spam. It's all only going out to people who want to get these marketing pieces via email, and the restaurant, the business itself, gets the list of these ideal leads to communicate with. And of course, we also made Fred affordable. Some of the people I mentioned earlier, they charge as much as two times for what we charge for Fred per month. So it becomes definitely a big money saver too. My 10 dishes is concept was similar in terms of it needed to be simple, needed to be, quick to use, not complicated in any way, and easy. And also, we wanted to make sure that it's done using strictly mobile devices. That basically, my 10 dishes is really takeout online 2, version 2, if you will. For many years, I've heard people telling me that, mobile is coming, and I saw that it was coming, being in IT, but I could not come up with a good way to take a small 5-inch screen and drop 200 dishes from a menu. It's just too much scrolling back and forth and selecting and deselecting and things like that. So I did not even consider doing anything on mobile for ordering, because to me it just was not efficient. It wasn't simple enough. It's just too clunky. It's not, the environment itself is not conducive to doing that kind of work. And so then later I came up with the idea of my 10 dishes, meaning that if most people don't order tremendous number of dishes all the time, they order from a small subset from the menus. And a lot of times they order the same thing over and over. So you usually come in, you order two, three, four things. That's really what you usually order. You might be ordering multiple quantities of these, but not that many dishes for each order. So with that being the case, I decided that what we would do is we would actually build a mobile ordering environment, but we would build it with a limited number of dishes. And when I say limited, I don't mean to limit the access of dishes from the menu, that you can only have 10 dishes in this case. That's why it's called my 10 dishes. But enable people to just navigate and work through just the 10 dishes of their own choice, so they can still pick from the entire menu initially, but when they actually do the ordering, it's much, much simpler and quicker, because they only have to scroll through 10 dishes. That was the idea behind my 10 dishes, and that's exactly how it works. So everybody gets access to the entire menu, and they can change it anytime. They can select their 10 dishes anytime they want to be just the 10 dishes they want, up to 10. You can have fewer if you want. But the idea is that you only it then becomes much, much more manageable. It's much easier to use. It's much easier to get your stuff done, if you will. So for customers, it's simplicity and quickness that makes it so appealing, and makes it so different from most other offerings on the market that do mobile ordering and regular online ordering, including a takeout online. Because takeout online definitely was not a mobile friendly environment. You could bring it up, it would actually work, but everything would be so dinky and so tiny on the screen that you have to, blow it way up, and then you have to do all this moving and scrolling. It's just people actually have used it in mobile, but it's not what I would recommend. So we came up with My 10 Dishes, which makes it easy to read, easy to use. It's manageable because it's only 10 dishes you're working with. It's completely customizable, so you can do whatever 10 dishes you want to have. And of course, you can change them anytime you wish, literally. And when I show the demo, I'll show you how easy it is. And so it's a cloud-based environment. Again, no apps to download from Play Store or App Store. Okay, it works strictly from QR codes. So there's no downloads or installed. It works on both iPhone and Androids. It's integrated with Fred now. That's why we're making a big announcement today because we finally got that done. And I'll explain the integration in a little bit. And also, you can actually get it for practically free for your restaurant, meaning it won't cost the restaurant anything. And for anybody who is interested, we'll describe what it means. But the monthly fee, the starting monthly fee right now that we're talking about is if somebody was to use just My 10 Dishes without any other services, would be around $50 a month, which is about less than half to a third of what most other people charge per month for these kind of services. So definitely much more affordable. And in conjunction with Fred, for example, not only is it integrated with Fred and provides very convenient functionality for everybody, it also winds up being almost free to use. Um, Definitely free to the restaurant. Um, and then Mirar was the advertising platform we put together for basically for tablets and anything up to huge screen TV. So you start with a tablet being display on a kind of smaller scale because on the phones it's just too small. The phones are too small to be able to do it on the phone. You could do it, but they're just too small. So I would recommend definitely tablets and all the way up to huge TVs. And it's cloud based, so it's driven completely from the cloud. And it's an app that it's a web app, what we call it, meaning it's not, you don't download, install anything, but it's running as an application from the web itself, from the cloud. And you can run it on little tablets or all the way up to huge size TVs. Uh, the difference between just creating like some people create a PowerPoint presentation they drop on their TVs. This is very different because it's actually an intelligent advertising, not some presentation you do and put it on a big screen TV. This thing has ability to do, for example, digital menus. So you can put in your menu, and the important thing here is that you can also put the menu on PowerPoint. Difference is that these menus are maintained through regular cell phones. So the restaurant owner doesn't have to worry about any of the minutia with setup and complexity and technology, everything else. They just they put their TV, they regenerate all the content for them initially, and then it runs on the big screen TV or on tablets, whatever they prefer at the restaurant. They can have one, they can have multiple ones, doesn't matter. Then what happens is, if let's say they did put a menu for them, then they want to make a change to the menu. They want to change the description a little bit. They want to change the price. They want to change the name, whatever they want to change. We're giving them a simple cell phone based interface. So we eliminate all the complexity involved with the whole environment. It's a simple form basically where they go in, they see all the dishes, they click on a dish, it lets them change, it shows them what the current information is, lets them change to whatever they want. They click a button to submit it, and magically now the actual display shows the menu change. So we remove the complexity and we empowered the owners to do things on their own cell phone. Another thing, example, for example, is specials of the day. Some restaurants have specials of the day or soup of the day, which needs to change all the time. Again, we have certain screens on Mirar that allow people to simply go in on their phones and simply change the text for the special of the day or for soup of the day. So there's a screen that has some nice graphics, maybe animation, maybe even video, and it shows the text information with special of the day. So the owner or the manager or whoever is authorized can go ahead and easily change the text right from their cell phone from any location. They don't have to be at the restaurant. So one guy that I was talking to said, can I be in Hawaii and make a change at my restaurant in Seattle? I said, yeah, absolutely. Anytime you want. So it's kind of nice that it's got this intelligence built in. It's got ability to schedule things. For example, You can put in beginning and or ending date for when your screens are supposed to run, and this is on a screen per screen basis. So a particular screen will come on date indicated. Let's say you have plenty of time in October to do some planning for Christmas, but then you know you're going to be slammed for Christmas. So you build all this content, all these screens that were created beforehand, um, but you don't want to show them yet. So you just simply put in beginning date of whatever is going to be right after Thanksgiving, and then you're done with it and forget it. And then the system will run as soon as the date turns. It's going to automatically show the new content. And of course, then you also want to have an ending date, so your Christmas information will expire on a certain date, so it automatically stops showing without anybody worrying about deleting things, inserting things, changing things. It's very, very easy. Again, idea is to be simple for people to use, and so most of the heavy duty lifting is done by us at PCS for this service, and then these basic changes that are mobile based, we empower the customers to do it on their own if they want. We'll be happy to do them too, but if they want, they can do it. Also, it has the ability to do interactivity. So if you're running it on a tablet, it won't work on TV, but on a tablet, if you're running Mirar, you can actually have a screen that has a button. For example, one restaurant, we implemented a customer survey. So when people leave, it says, if you have a moment, we'd appreciate you filling out this customer survey. Click on the button to start. So they click on the button. If they don't click, it goes to the next screen. If they click, then it goes and opens up this nice form where they're able to fill out, pull down menus, check boxes, everything, normal form, and they fill out information, rate their rate, how they like the service, how they like the food, whatever you want to ask them, you can ask them, short form, and then they submit it, and then the restaurant gets that as well. So it's got all these capabilities inside for a lot of different functionality. One of the also important things to know that it's got what I call advertising inside and outside. In other words, you can put it on a big screen TV inside your restaurant. You can have all kinds of information being promoted, all kinds of ads, screens, advertising specials, advertising events that are coming up, advertising even Fred, for example. If they're running Fred, they can advertise saying, sign up for our frequent dividends for our rewards program. Sign up for, you know, if you want to order uh, with your phone, they can have a QR code to order using My 10 Dishes if they're running that. All of these services, all of this can be done inside. And then My TV, as I call it, which is a companion product that comes with Mirar. I mean, it's part of it. It allows you, because Mirar is an app, web app, meaning you can run it by simply having a bookmark. You don't need to have anything you download or install, just like all of our services are. Then that means you can send the link to Mirar to your Fred people, your customers, and then you can have a modified version of Mirar running right there at their home. And we're working right now of integrating both My 10 Dishes and Fred into it, so people can actually see their own, like the last 10 orders they placed. They can see it on the screen as part of this presentation, part of this advertising, on their own screen at home, on their computer or their tablet, whatever they're running it on. And at the same time, they can actually click and place an order right from that screen. So that's the integration with My 10 Dishes. The integration with Fred is that it's going to come up and show how many credits they still need to get to their reward. So it shows them basically the current status of where they're at. So it's going to be very much personal based, and when the restaurants send it to them, so very personalized. Right now, personalization is hugely important, and that's why we also have it built into our services to make it, because it's important to make it viable and make it potent for the businesses and the customers that use it. So that's what I mean by advertising outside, is you're basically taking the entire advertising infrastructure you built, not the entire, but the smaller version that you actually want people to see, because we'll be able to set it up so they'll be able to see it, and then you go ahead and advertise it on um, in their homes, in their businesses. It's, they get the link and they see it, and that's it. So that's the advertising outside. So you can have if you think about it for a minute, you can see how much of an additional reach you can have where you're sending people some of this information. And the integrations are important from the standpoint of, it makes people, first of all, they like this kind of stuff, it's personal stuff, but it also is the reason for them to keep coming back and using that link, and the link would always be for them the same. So you can be sending these links to them all the time, from time to time, to remind them. They can be just simply bookmarking and clicking on them and looking at any time to see what's the soup of the day today. Well, it's on the Mirror display. So instead of just having some kind of static email that you're constantly inundating people with, instead you can over time train, if you will, or educate is a better word, your people, your customers, to use that particular single link, and they can run it, like I said, on their computer, on their tablet, wherever, so they can see today's soup is going to be automatically showing the proper information because it's going to be totally up to date, plus their personal information. So that's what makes Mirar intelligent advertising much more capable than that, and to to minimize or diminish the cost, practically you can eliminate the cost even on things like Mirar. One of the possibilities we introduce to people is if there are some local businesses next to your restaurant that are non-competitive businesses. Let's say you have a nail salon or you have a clothing store, or you have, anything else you might have next to you, because it's a typical situation. There are businesses around. You can potentially, we have no problems with that. You can potentially sell, because people that are your neighbors, sell them some inexpensive advertising, and so you may be charging, 25, $50 a month, whatever you decide. And then what winds up happening is that these people will have their own single screen. So think of it as, I don't know, 1 to 5% maximum of airtime be dedicated to some of these promo screens. For other people, 95 to almost 100% is going to be you. The 99%, let's say, is going to be advertising promoting your stuff. So it's not like you're turning into advertising channel for somebody else. It's just a way for you, for your business, to be able to generate some money to not only pay for Mirar, if you get enough of these, and you charge whatever you want to charge, we'll build the screens for them. But in terms of paying for it, they're going to be paying you. So that means that you can potentially not only pay for all these services, or at least Mirar, by other people, so it doesn't cost you anything at all to have all these benefits for your business, but in addition to that, you potentially can even make some money with this. So just something to consider. Don't have to do this, don't have to get into advertising business, but I'm just saying that the options and the possibilities are there for you to consider and for you to use. So those are the three services we announced today. Those are the big three things that we're rolling out as we speak right now. And you own a restaurant and you want to use any or combination or any single ones or any all of these services, you can actually sign up to do so today. And at the end of this presentation, you'll see how you can easily contact PCS, and we can take it from there. But and obviously we can answer any of your questions and provide more detail. But essentially, this is the big announcement for us. It's a nice to finally be able to say that we can actually roll it out now that the work is done and all of these are working, and we have them deployed and have tested them in a number of environments, and these are ready to go. So Fred, Might and Dishes, and there are new announcement from PCS today. So let's talk a little bit about a little more detail about what it can do for your business. So all of these services are runnable from mobile devices. That was the intent. And people, when they do ordering, for example, using My 10 Dishes, they can order from their home, from office, from their car, even from a restaurant right from the table. So this brings up many possibilities at this point, and much convenience for people, simplicity for them too, but also savings and money-making opportunity for you as the business owner. So people can use, everything is mobile, so phone, tablet, and they can also use pretty much all of these on PCs as well. So if they want to run it on their laptop or their desktop, it also works fine there. There's no different code. Like I said, because of this capability of being a web-based, cloud-based application, all of these are cloud-based. That means that there is no app to download or install. There is no platform to worry about that, does it work on a Mac? Does it work on this? It'll work on everything. If you have a standard modern browser like Chrome or Safari, and if you have a phone that's either Android or iPhone, then you can use any of these services. So ubiquitous access from anywhere. You just need the internet, you need the device, and you're ready to go for any of these. So in terms of kind of honing down to the formula for success, how do you achieve success? This is where we obviously we're biased because this is our services, but we created these services specifically to make businesses like yours successful. So all of the services are mobile based, as I mentioned. The only app that's needed is a QR reader. So I said many times before, and I'll say it again, that you don't need to download or install anything, and you don't. The services themselves are run automatically, but you need to initiate them somehow. And so some of them are initiated by a QR code, which is quick response code as they call it, that Google invented. They're pretty prevalent everywhere. A lot of people are using them for a lot of different things, and so do we. And so most people already have these QR readers on their phones installed. But if you don't, you can easily download it for free from either App Store or um, Google Play Store, one-time download, and it's just one app that you would need to be able to do it. And now there's a new option. Actually, there's Google Lens, which is available for free in everybody's Google Photos app. So if you're using Google Photos for your photographs and videos, if you go to Google Lens, you take a picture of QR code that we're using, and you go to Google Lens, bring it up with Google Lens, it'll automatically read it for you as well and get you to the right location. So you don't even have to install any even QR reader if you have Google Photos with Google Lens on it. And all of our stuff is very simple to implement, which of course is important for restaurants. Um, it's inexpensive. Basically, it's free to implement because the only thing you will need is you will need some placards, some cards here and there showing the QR code and explaining to people very basic explanation of how to use this. I mean, that's basically it. But and we will provide those initially, and then you can put them anywhere because it's just a QR code. You can put it on your website, you can put it on your blog, you can put it on your social media, you can put it on your car, you can put it on your letters, you can put it on your business cards, anywhere you can put it, and people will be able to use it from any of those sources. And of course, you can put it as a tent cards on your tables, which is something that we definitely recommend you do. So if you look at this pyramid of success, you start out with high quality food and service at the bottom, mandatory, have to have that. If you don't, I just want to make it very clear, even though it's pretty self-explanatory, that no matter what tools or services you use from PCS or from any other company, if the quality of food and service is not in place, nothing is going to help you stay in business. It's a recipe for disaster. So if the service is not happening, reviews start going bad, people start reading bad reviews, Google stops showing you, essentially your competition will eat you alive if that's the case. So that's why it's extremely important to make sure that the food service, that part of it is handled by you as the most important first thing. That's not enough to be able successful to be successful, but it's certainly something that has to be in place all the time for this whole formula and this pyramid to succeed. So when you start with that, that's under your control. Then you add our services. You add, for example, the rewards program, which is Fred, and that will enable your customers. It will nudge them into coming back all the time. Your ideal customers, your good customers. It'll also, because they're your ideal customers, they will spend more money. And the way Fred is implemented to get into it, we're only getting people who actually want to do business with you. We don't get anybody else. So with that being the case, and of course we're building email list of all these people so you can start building a relationship with them, which will turn to trust, which will turn into more and more business. So the rewards program is the first staple. Second thing is you add mobile ordering via online, via Mighty Ambitious, because now everybody demands it. Everybody and their brother wants to order food online. They want to order it not just online, but they want to order it on their mobile phones more and more so. So the old days of ordering online are moving quickly into mobile ordering, and you want to be able to provide people with ability to order both ways, both on regular computers, the old way, and using mobile approach. And the mobile approach is the most important because 82% of the country uses and has mobile phones, and that's what they want to use because it's most convenient for them. And so if you can make that environment to be available everywhere, simple to use, quick and simple to use, I should say, and then flexible enough where it's personalized so they can do things based on what they want when they want to, then you have a winning formula. So you're providing them ability to save some money with Fred, You're letting them order from you from anywhere, anytime, all the time, using my 10 dishes. And then, as the final step or pillar in here, is the Mirar, especially in combination with Fred, where you're able to promote things inside your restaurant in a very visual manner, using videos, using text, using graphics. So it's very appealing to people. People like to look at TVs, watch TVs, and they don't really have much to do other than eat at the restaurant anyway. So when they're sitting, you got something to show them. So that will enable you to let them know about your private dining area, for example. That's one possibility. If you have a private dining area, you can promote that so people can do parties, birthday parties. They can do all kinds of other gatherings over there. You can promote your catering services if you offer those. You can promote Fred. You can promote ordering from my 10 dishes. You can promote employees of the month. I mean, there is literally no end to how many things you can actually convey to people on a ongoing basis. You know, you have a loop that maybe runs for 5 minutes, so it's not going to be anything huge, and nobody's going to sit there for hours watching this TV. But because people keep coming in all the time, they watch a little bit here, a little bit there. That's why it's called mirar. You're glancing at it. Things. Coke is it, Coke is it, Coke is it. People go buy Coke. Same kind of concept here. You're looping the same content over and over, showing specials of the day. So some information they really want to know, so they will sit and wait. What is special of the day today, for example? Or screen comes up and says we're going to be closed for uh, Cinco de Mayo, for example. That would be a Mexican, not Mexican restaurant, obviously. But you know what I mean. Like for Christmas, here's our holiday hours, things like that. People need to know this and they want to know this, and this makes it easy to present it to them and convey it to them without putting all kinds of papers all over the place and inundating them with all kinds of stuff that way. So it's a very, very useful way to do it. And of course, like I said, personalization with my TV makes it even more compelling. And you can promote things inside and you can promote things outside. So it's an ongoing promotional machine, if you will, with ability for people to easily order and reorder. I'll show you that also. And also they get perks, they get benefits. So that those all these things combined make make up for the success at the end with trusted and repeated business. Okay. So let's talk about the individual apps. So we'll start with My 10 Dishes. My 10 Dishes is simple to implement use. I'll show you a demo a little bit later, but basically it kind of looks like this. You have the logo of the restaurant at the top, where it says PCS. It's actually your logo. There's nothing about PCS or anything else there. It's just going to be strictly your logo, and it's going to have information about your business. And as I mentioned before, you're offering this to people in your restaurant as your service. So it's natural. It will be your logo. It'll be like your own application being offered as a service to your customers. Um, Notice that on that black bar there, the status bar, it says "Hello Oleg." Tap on your dish below. So when I sign on initially, and signing on is as simple as just clicking on the bookmark, it already knows it's me, based on a bunch of things we do behind the scenes. So it says, gives person's name, and it says tap on your dish below. So all as you can imagine, you have to do is just touch these horizontal lines there, each dish, and it's got description. You can have a longer description, it could be like up to 3 lines. Description on the left there, and then you have the dish name, you have the price, and you can either pick it or it turns color blue, and the button turns instead of saying pick, it says drop. So it's pretty easy, pretty intuitive, based on all these little descriptions what somebody needs to do, and also color coding makes it easy because dark blue means something is picked, and light blue means it hasn't been picked yet. And then you can have up to 10 of these, so there's not much scrolling at all going on. And then when you get done, you simply click on that forward arrow at the top to continue, or there'll be a small bar on the bottom at the same time as the top. So if you're sitting at the bottom, you can just go forward from there. So that's essentially the interface. Very simple. There's also a menu, and from the menu, that's where you select the option to pick your 10 dishes, and you can change it to be whatever you want it to be. So that's my 10 dishes. Fred, some of the things about Fred, it's a web app, as I mentioned, it's cloud-based, cross-platform compatible. You don't need to download or install anything. Um, just need a smartphone with a camera, QR code for scanning, or Google Lens on Google photos. You do build with Fred automated list of your ideal customers, which you can then communicate to, and you can communicate with them. One of the things that Fred comes with is a mobile link. Again, not an app, just a link, bookmark that you can put in. I mean, what we usually recommend to restaurants is create a folder on your phone with all of your PCS related applications, if you will, bookmarks to these applications. And so you're not downloading a song, you're just putting bookmarks in this folder. And so you would have one of them is going to be called Fred Flash. And what that does is it simply comes up with a little form on your phone when you click on it, and it shows you how many people you can email or text at this point because it's a constantly growing list. So, for example, one restaurant we have, you come up with Fred Flash and it says you're going to be sending emails to 267 people last time I checked it. And you can send the text to 287 people. And so these numbers are different because we give people choice to opt out at any point from either texting or emails. They still stay with Fred. It's just they can opt out if they want to. Nobody's forced into anything. And so the people who opt in, that's the count it shows. That's who he's going to be sending to. So the Fred Flash is a simple little form where you put in your content. You just type it on your phone, whatever you want to send, whatever message you want to send. And I realize if you want to do a long-winded email, it's going to be kind of tough. But the idea is not to make it so. Nobody wants to sit and read for half an hour email from anyone. So it needs to be pithy, if you will. And so we're trying to keep it short. So that's the intent there. So they simply, you would go into that Fred Flash screen. You just simply type in your text, whatever you want to send. The greeting and the footer for the message is already built in, so you don't have to worry about that. You click send, and there you go. You just sent 267 or whatever it is, 980, however many you want to send. Emails that went out to your people, your Fred people, your ideal customers, or you can do the same thing with texting with just a simple tap on your phone. Um, so that's one of the ways that you can communicate with people via Fred. And of course, we can send emails on your behalf, or you can send emails. The bottom line is you have this ideal golden lead list of your ideal customers that you can engage with on a continuous basis. Remember how I said about the punch cards being not that great because people lose them, people, they want to have all this paper, people do all kinds of things with them. Well, here's a deal where it's similar approach in terms of the psychology of it, because you essentially have people sign up and then they're able to get rewards and they're able to get credits and eventually get rewards. But the key thing here is that with this approach, the psychology works the same, but the physical interaction is completely different where you're actually getting an email list. People don't have to carry anything, so it's much simpler for them. And then you're able to, who these people are. So you're now able to market to them directly via email or via text and send whatever information you want to send them. And that makes it extremely powerful in terms of being able to engage with people, communicate with people, build that relationship, build that trust, which translates into more business for you. And there are advertising inside and out, as we talked about earlier. You can run it on tablets or big screen TVs, totally up to you. It is cloud-based tech, so you just click on a link and it works. And I'll show you in a moment in the demo. You will see how that is. It's simple maintenance via mobile devices, so you're empowered as a business owner to change, to send communications to your Fred people um, using your mobile phone. In Mirar, you're able to use your mobile phone to make changes to your menus, make changes to your specials of the day, make changes to certain screens where you want to be able to have control of them in terms of the information you provide. You totally have that kind of capability for certain screens, and of course for the menus and for specials. So it makes it very convenient but everything is done on the mobile devices, so you can do all this maintenance from your phone or from your tablet. Very simple. And you have ability to have digital menus, you have interactivity, you have scheduling. There's many more features I didn't go into, but it's a very potent advertising platform inside the restaurant and to go directly to the people. And so the integrations is what make it great. For example, Fred and My 10 Dishes. If you have Fred and my 10 dishes in your restaurant, then when people order, at the end of the first order, it'll ask them, do you want to sign up for our rewards programs? If they indicate yes, that they want to sign up for the rewards program, then it's just a single click to get into it, and then they're done. Okay? Then every time they order, they will qualify potentially to get rewards, and they will automatically get the rewards. So it's completely frictionless environment. That's what makes this integration between the reward program and the ordering program so great. Fred and Mirar, I already mentioned, you're able to go to Mirar and people will be able to pull up and see how many credits they have. Same thing with My 10 Dishes, what orders they've ordered, be able to reorder again. So it's kind of all these integrations allow people to do a lot of things on their own. And one of the things that also happens that I didn't mention is reputation management. For example, let's say that you had somebody leave a bad review. Is there anything you can do about it? Not really. I mean, you can ask Google to remove it, but it's most of the time you won't be able to succeed. So what do? If your ratings go down because some one character came in, he woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and all of a sudden he decided to leave you a one-star review just because he can. So the way that's handled is through reputation management, and we basically have it built in behind the scenes, because kind of built in. What I mean by that is you're able to take your big and constantly growing thread list of people, and you simply email them some sort of an offer, whatever it might be. It could be just email without an offer, up to you. And you thank them for their business, and you simply ask them, if you don't mind, we'd really appreciate getting a review on Google or on Yelp or anywhere else you want to get a review. Okay? Now, here's what happens at that point. These people get this email, okay? They like you. Remember, these are the people who are your ideal customers. They like you, okay? So are these people going to reciprocate for all these offers and things you're giving them, potentially even in that email, by not reviewing you? They might. Some people want to do it. Some people might not want to do it. So you're not going to get everybody, but a good number of them, because they do like you and love you in many cases. Most A lot of people will reciprocate, saying, "Yeah, I can leave a review. I mean, no skin off my nose." Now the next question is, do you think this is going to be a good review or a bad review? And you know the answer as well as I do that, of course, nobody's going to leave, anybody who likes you is not going to leave you a bad review. So even though you're not asking them to say something good or positive or anything, you're just simply asking for a review, you're going to get a good review. And so I had a situation like this where with one email, the customer's rating went from 4.2 to 4.1 because of one star rating that somebody posted. I sent an email on the behalf of this restaurant with this request. Within a week, they went up 2 decimal points up. They went from 4.1 to 4.3 just by emailing one time a customer base. And of course, you can email people every so often with the same request to continually move. So what you wind up doing is you wind up pushing down the bad reviews. You wind up getting a lot more good reviews, and these are all legit. It's not like you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. Some businesses engage in, hiring people to do good reviews. That's a horrible idea. Google hates this. Google punishes people when they find out about this, and it's just not what people want. People want honesty. People want truth. So you don't need to go and do something, unethical. You simply ask your people who chose to participate with you, to deal with you. You're asking them to leave a review. Simple as that. And they go ahead and do it. And next thing you know, your rating goes up. Again, more business. So all of this kind of stuff is all possible for our systems. All right, enough talking. Let's do a little demo here for different things. So we'll start with my 10 dishes. I'm going to disconnect from the presentation. Let me grab my phone. Okay, let's go ahead and start the presentation. Hopefully you can see me now. I'm back. Hello again. So I got my trusty phone here, my Samsung Galaxy S7. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do a My 10 Dishes demo for you on my phone. And should be able to see it. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and remember, you can get into it by just clicking on a bookmark. So I'm going to go to my bookmarks, which are right here. Right there, as you can see, there's all kinds of My 10 Dishes right there. And so I'm going to go ahead and choose the demo one, just one tab. And then as soon as I do that, notice it comes up with the demo. Let me see if I can get the focus better. There we go. You can see it's a PCS cafe, which is obviously bogus, nothing special. And then you got a little pulsating forward bar. That's the key bar to use. Notice it's just a URL. It's not any kind of app or anything. It's just a regular old URL. And you have all these different dishes there and select. So if I wanted to select double cod, I will simply tap it and now it turns blue. And then I'm going to select clam chowder cup and now that turns blue. And I'm going to select halibut only, and then I thought about it, said, no, you know what, I'm not going to do halibut, so I'm going to tap on it again to deselect it. It's that simple. And you can see the scrolling wise, I only have a few dishes there to select. I'm also going to select jar of tartar. Let's select that. So those are the dishes I'm going to get. Then click on, I'm going to tap on the forward bar here, and then immediately get the next screen, which says, how would you I'm reading backwards. How do you prefer to pay for your items? For your meal, I'm sorry, for your meal. Okay. So how do we prefer to, we have two choices. We can pay cash or we can do credit card. My conditions was set up to enable people to do cash, to pay cash. The way that works is it tells them immediately when they click cash that their order will go through, but nobody's going to make anything until they show up and pay cash for the order. So it gives people a way to, for people to, first of all, if they want to pay cash, it makes it easier for them to order and then show up, pay cash, and then the food is made. Another reason is because if you're going to have a bunch of people come in, even if you're not going to pay cash until then, but you don't know how many people exactly will be there or exactly what time or anything like that, then you just send it as a cash order so they will have it there. When you show up, at that point, you're taking care of payments and everything else at the restaurant, but they already have your order, so they can immediately start working on it as soon as you tell them you're there. Okay, so that's the idea for the cash. If you don't know when you're going to show up or if you want to pay cash. Credit card is a standard approach, so it's default, comes up with that. And changing it obviously is as simple as you click on cash and it tells you, you know, you're not going to get anything until you show up and pay. That's that. So it just gives you that, and then you click on credit card, it goes back to that display. So if you do order using credit card, then you have two choices. You have pickup and delivery, and notice that it shows today's date as the day of the pickup or delivery, and the time would be ASAP, which is what most people order most commonly. So it tries to come up with the most common, but you can change it to be whatever time you want. It doesn't have to be ASAP. You just click on that pick time. So I'm going to click on forward to go forward. Now it says these are the three items you picked. To give me the quantities. So in my case, I'm not going to change the quantities, but well, let's do two clam chowders instead of one. So I'm going to select two instead. And if I can make it so you can see it here. So we got two clam chowders. We got that. You can remove any of these things by clicking on the remove button. So it's not too late to change your mind. So we're done. We're going to continue forward. Then we get to comments. You can leave comments, general comments for anything. Also on the previous screen, I didn't show you, but you can actually put a little comment for every single dish you're ordering. So if you want to say to leave sour cream off or add some more anchovies or whatever you want to say basically on there, make it well done. It actually keeps track of it for when you order. It keeps track of it for the customer, for you, and then next time you order, it's going to automatically show all these descriptions you put in. You don't have to keep re-entering information over and over. Again, the idea was to keep it as simple as possible. Okay. Notice I didn't have to do any logins or anything. It knows that it's me because of how we implemented this. So the first time around, it's going to ask you a bunch of questions. It's going to ask you over as you're ordering. It's going to ask you for your name, your email, different things that it needs to know. But after the first time, it stores everything where it needs to store it, and from that point on, you're good to go. So I'm going to click on the button here because I don't have anything else to put in any comments. It says these are the things you're ordering. This is how many. That's how much it costs. See if I can get focus back here, and it shows you all the totals there. Sales tax, everything. If you're a Fred member, it's going to also show that there's so many Fred credits, and if you happen to get a reward, like in this case, there's a reward, you can see, then that means it's also going to subtract that from the total too. So all the Fred related things, the reward related things are done behind the scenes, completely and totally automated with my conditions. It says I'm going to be ordering using credit card ending in these four digits. So it knows what credit card number I'm using when it expires. It shows me where the confirmation will be sent to, which you can see there's a little change link next to credit card, next to confirmation. I can change it anytime I want by clicking on that change link. And then it says it'll be, your order will be ready for pickup on Wednesday ASAP, which is what I selected, and then approve or cancel the order. Okay, so we're going to approve the order. And as soon as I click approve the order, it goes into this little animation saying processing, please wait, where it's processing the credit card payment. If the credit card is not processed, nobody's placing any orders. It has to be. As you can see, it just notified me I got a text message that there was an order. That's what restaurant notification does. It automatically notifies anybody's phone or however they want to do it that there is an order. One of the new things we're implementing is ability to notify a restaurant that they have a new order using these new smart light bulbs. So we have one restaurant right now where whenever order comes in through the system, their smart light bulb changes to red, and then they tell they have a tablet that uses Alexa, so they tell Alexa to turn the light to yellow or white or whatever they want it to be, anything but red, and that way they or they can just do it from their phone. And so the idea is to have this visual clue because restaurants asked us, can we get notifications? And so we provided using cell phones. That's no problem, and we can still do that. But they said, well, sometimes same people are not there with the same number, and would be nice to have something else. So we have this smart light technology now we can do. So here it says, thank you for your order, Oleg. Obviously, like I said, everything is personalized, and it says, about rewards, and basically that's it. So at this point, the customer can quit. It says you're done, so we're done. And the only thing you can do at this point is either quit or you can just, if you push the forward button again, it actually takes you to the restaurant's website. So it's a little bit more of a branding situation there. Goes right to the restaurant website. So that's how easy it is to order using My 10 Dishes. Uh, if you wanted to reorder, like a lot of people come and they reorder stuff, it makes it even easier to reorder by using our pronto mode, what we call it. So I'm going to go ahead and tap the demo again and show you what happens if you want to just simply reorder your last order. Notice it comes back with the same display. Nothing is selected. So selecting something, I'm just going to click on forward button. Notice now it actually comes up with the 3 dishes I just picked before. It shows the bar in red saying it's a pronto order and all the same totals, everything. The only difference is there's no, oh yeah, there is, okay. Yeah, basically everything is based on the totals. The rewards and Fred, everything is, it gives me additional things because I'm reordering. And so I tapped one time. If I want to see pictures, I can click on the little camera there, see a picture of food. So do that. But anyway, you tap one more time, second time on approve, it processes the order, and there's another order. So 2 taps. We'll quickly go through it one more time. You go into the My 10 Dishes right there. You click on forward button one time. You click on forward button second time, and you just placed another order that simply within seconds with just 2 clicks. 2 taps. We're going to hang up on this phone call. I apologize for that. And that's it. I mean, it's as simple as that to do My 10 Dishes. Now let's go ahead and do a little demo of Fred. So for Fred, the only thing you really need for Fred is to use like a QR code. And this is an example of one of the restaurants we have using it. I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, I'll just show you right here. So this is like a little tent card people put on the table right there. And so when they come in, they see this message. It says, simply scan the above code once with your mobile device, fill out blah, blah, blah to get started. So basically just tells them at the top the offer. Get a free gear special when you buy 10 other specials. Offer can be anything, by the way. And it's got the logo and it's got the QR code. So people bring their phones. Let's see how we're going to do this. I'm going to turn on my phone. I'm going to select my QR reader program right there. And I'm just going to go ahead and scan. And once I scan it, you can see it comes up immediately with Fred, screen registration for Fred. Okay? And notice that we're only asking for three things: name, email, and phone number. Nothing more complicated than that. Very simple. And so this is where people have a chance or choice whether they want to be ideal customers or not. If they want to be ideal customers, or if they are ideal customers, I should say, they will definitely sign up. Okay? If they're not interested, they will just walk away. So we're doing two things. We're asking them to scan. That's step number one, that they have to action they have to take. And then once they scan, it's asking them to put in some personal information, name, email, phone number, to actually sign up. So now they still have a choice to back out. They don't have to do it, but those ideal customers are the ones who are going to actually take you up on it. So they scanned action one, they filled out a form, submitted action two, and now they're Fred members. As soon as they do it, they will get an email, and they will get a QR code in a text message, as well as the email, that shows them precisely um, how to use this thing, and just basically tells them, use the QR code that we sent you to show when you come to the restaurant to get your rewards, get your credits, and get your rewards. So every time they show up at the restaurant, they flash the QR code on their phone. The restaurant people scan that QR code, and that's what registers their purchase. And then, when they get done, when they get to the point of reward, then the reward is issued, and the restaurant gives them credit. As simple as that. If they're using that approach with My 10 Dishes, it's automated, so it does everything behind the scenes. They don't have to scan anything or do anything. They just have to order, and it automatically does it. So that's pretty much how Fred works. And then in terms of Mirar, I'll show you a quick demo of Mirar. Let's go ahead and let me see here. I'm going to pull up the screen here, and I'm going to go ahead and share the screen with you. And as you can see on that screen there, there's I have some collections I put together for information about customer loyalty. And you can see all kinds of headlines with, keys to building standout loyalty program, 6 steps to achieving customers. And there's tremendous number of articles out there talking about how important and useful things like Fred and My 10 Dishes are in today's restaurant environment. If you're interested, I'll be happy to share that with you, and you can check it out yourself. But anyway, all I have to do is go to the demo. We'll go use Santa Fe as an example. So I click on the bookmark, and again, it's just a bookmark, it's not an app. And when I click on the bookmark, this comes up. It's got their logo. There's the menu example that they can maintain from their cell phone easily. So it shows the menu. It sits there for a little bit, then it goes into this. This is an example of a video playing on the left there, and it's got some text on it. And the branding and the header stays the same, so it's got the kind of dynamic functionality, but at the same time, consistent static look to it too. Always branded. Everything is always branded. So there's their restaurant. There's the dinner specials I told you about that they can maintain from their cell phone, where they change the text. They won't change the picture, but they can change the text. We take care of the initial setup and then graphical setup. There's lunch specials, for example. And so these screens pop up. The idea is not to make it that you're watching ABC, but make it attractive enough and useful enough for people to look and see. Here's an example where they can sign up for Fred directly from the TV screen by just simply scanning it right there. There's the QR code, tells them a little bit about it. They also have a club going, so there's Club Santa Fe. They can sign up, again, using the QR code. So everything is kind of around different QR codes with different functionality, but it's the same simple scan the QR code and go. They promote their gift certificates. What else they got here? That they accept different credit cards. I mean, you get the idea. It's basically like restaurant can think of it as your own TV channel. That's what this is. And this is the interactive part where they can click on to get the form, and they fill out the form, and then when they get done with the form, they go back to this and just goes to the next screen, and then starts again. So that's the mirror out there, and of course you can have all kinds of information. It doesn't have to be just that, but that's an example of Mirar, saying it with the old name. Okay, let's get back to our presentation here. Jump out of here. Jump back to our presentation. So you've seen all three now, generally speaking, and let's go ahead and go back to here. Okay, so the question is, why choose us? What makes us so special? Why you want to deal with PCS? Outside of the fact that we've been in business doing IT for over 3 decades and have done a lot of different things, we've also done a lot of stuff for restaurants since 2000, so it's about almost 20 years. And we learned a lot of things on the way with Takeout Online, especially. And so we provide something that we think would be very useful for every restaurant. First of all, there's no commitment. We don't sign up any kind of year-to-year deals. If it's not working for you, you can jump out anytime, month to month. Second of all, our stuff is more affordable, specifically to partially to compete and partially to also make it more useful and more uh, potent for you as a restaurant owner. Our stuff, all of our stuff is very simple to implement, extremely simple. We will give you all the information you need. It's painfully simple and to implement, and of course, all of our stuff is pretty simple to use, as you've seen. That's important for the customers. If it's not simple, people won't use it. So all of our stuff is simple, and it's something that you absolutely need. And you may want it, you may not want it, depending on you. But it's something that you absolutely need in today's world to compete. The restaurants that do not adapt these kind of technologies are simply going to go out of business. It's as simple as that. I know it sounds harsh, but it's the reality. If you read everything out there and you see what the restaurant industry is doing, you look at big players like um, Applebee's, and you look at Olive Gardens, and you look at all the kind of bigger chains. All of them are implementing digital technology, digital marketing. All of them are doing it in-house using their programming staffs, something that small restaurants cannot afford to have. And so small restaurants wind up being really at a disadvantage because these other big restaurants are going to completely take all of their business away with all these conveniences and features. So we came up with these services to specifically enable you, the restaurant owner, to bring the same level of functionality and convenience and simplicity to your customers, branded under your identity, your name, your business name, and logo, look, everything, specifically to the customers, to your ideal customers, enable you to engage and re-engage with these customers, enable you to bring more and more and more business for you, and enable you opening the path of communication using email between you and these customers directly, not being under somebody else's umbrella with all these other people competing. This is just you, these people who chose to deal with you, and you deal directly with them using the email medium, which is the best medium to use for that, and that's how you get the best results. And so that's how we set up the whole ecosystem here to work exactly like that. And that's, I think, the reason why we think if you decide to go with PCS for your restaurant or for your business, the reason I say business, not necessarily restaurant, is because other businesses like bakeries, nail salons, all of these businesses can potentially use, all of them can use Fred. We have a clothing store, baby clothing store that's using Fred. So it doesn't have to be a restaurant. Obviously, ordering 10 dishes, something that could be, I mean, we're thinking about updating it for retail, so it wouldn't be dishes, it would be practically any products in somebody's store you could do. Similar approach. So, but that's mostly it's meant for restaurants. And something like Mirar, that's anybody needs to constantly market visually, and so it would work for any business. So that's why it's not just for restaurants. But for restaurants specifically, it's kind of a no-brainer in our view. We wanted to make it that way, so it's affordable for you, and so it's also very potent for what you need to have to be able to compete today. So that's why us. Uh, yeah, we have the ideal solution for your business. And so, to get involved with us, it's easy. You can find us on Google Plus. You can find us, you know, by doing Google search. One last thing I wanted to mention before I quit today is that people who want to get involved and want to make money by introducing our services to other businesses, we put together a performance-based compensation plan that enables somebody to make 57 plus thousand dollars in the first year and 129,000 plus in the second year. I say plus because we have these certain minimums that are pretty easy to achieve, just 10 businesses a month. If that's met, then those are the numbers that come out. And then if more than 10 businesses are brought in each month, then the numbers go up, obviously. And so if anybody wants to get involved in their area, dealing with selling these services to restaurants, you can certainly come up with a nice compensation plan um, package for you. So just get a hold of us and we'll set you up with that. With that said, thank you very much for listening. And we're done for today. Very excited to introduce these services, ready to deploy them as we speak for your restaurant or for your business. You can find us on Google Plus. Just go to google.com/plus PCS-works, and you'll see our main page there on Google Plus. You can also get in touch with me directly from my profile using that second link there, and via our website at pcs-works.com. The website is talking about our IT consulting and development services. It doesn't talk about the restaurant-related businesses yet. We're in the process of redoing the website, so you won't find it there. But that's our main website, main contact point. So feel free to contact us from there, and we'll be happy to talk to you if you have any questions at all. We didn't open the Q&A today specifically because things change, and we'll have some other presentations specifically dealing with questions. But for now, this is the new set of suite of services from PCS, Mirar, I should say, Might and Dishes, and Fred. And I hope you find this useful, and thank you.